For a long time, we've had this grounded belief that with genetics, nothing can be changed. But what if I were to tell you that genes can be marked not from DNA, but by our experiences? This is epigenetics, or above genetics, where external factors can influence our genes without changing our DNA sequence, but changing how our body reads the sequence. These factors can be how much you exercise, what you eat, how much sleep you are getting, even your moods, your state of mind. This may be seen as common information, but many people are not aware of the effects external factors have on their DNA. To start off, we know that DNA is what makes us unique and is the blueprint in every nucleus in a cell, in an organism. DNA makes codes for the genes. These genes are transcribed into RNA when being copied. This RNA is then translated into proteins. Cells need to make these proteins because they work molecules in every organism. There are two important mechanisms by which epigenetics are controlled, and these are DNA methylation and histone modification. In histone modification, histones are proteins. You can envision them as the spools that DNA winds itself around in our cells. When DNA is winded very tightly around these proteins, the genes cannot be expressed or read. But when the DNA strand is loose, the genes can be understood and expressed. In DNA methylation, methyl groups are DNA instructions made from carbon and hydrogen. Methylation is the addition or subtraction of a methyl group or chemical switches from regions of the DNA. And the complete set of DNA in an organism, long sequence-based pairs of genes on our DNA, is called the genome. These methyl groups are able to control this genome by binding to a gene in that genome and communicating when or when not a gene can be expressed and understood. Just like histone modification, DNA methylation can affect the gene's expression, turning them on or off. Every cell in your body has a distinct methylation and histone pattern, and this is what gives every cell its orders. You may be wondering, how can we see these being played out in real life? Well, let's say you have two twins, May and June. Keep in mind they have identical genes and their family has a history of type 2 diabetes. For certain reasons, May and June have been separated and don't know each other's existence. May has a bad diet, doesn't move around, and developed the type 2 diabetes, whereas June is very active, healthy, and does not have any diseases or illnesses. These significant changes among the two twins are a result of being raised in different situations, adapting different behaviors, diets, etc. You may be thinking, obviously they faced these different changes, what did you expect? The thing is, although all I've been saying is DNA is not destiny, it is actually hereditary. But let me explain. This means although illnesses, diseases, and other negative genes can run in the family, the external factors you face and how you approach them are what determine whether or not these parts in your genetics will actually be turned on or off. You can dampen, silence that gene from being expressed by every mouthful, every action that you take, even every thought you have. Your DNA is not just a sequence of letters, it's a whole show, a whole movie. But unlike every other movie, you can change the script and interact with this movie by removing and adding an actor, with your choices being the remote control.